Right here tonight at 5 o'clock, it was a violent weekend across Metro Louisville. 17 people were shot in 8 different incidents. It's our top story for you here at 5. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Connie Leonard. These events tragically killed 3 different people with no arrests so far. LMPD is just in the preliminary stages of all these investigations. Now take a look at this map to help put this into perspective. Many of the victims were young, teenagers, including the shooting at a party. It was a strip mall in PRP where a massive graduation party spilled over into a parking lot. 7 people, including 5 kids, suffered gunshot injuries. LMPD held a briefing following the surge of violence just a few hours ago.
And that's where we pick up the story here at 5. Our Ian Hardwitt was there at that news conference along with photojournalist Jessica Farley. And Ian, what did the police have to say about this high number of shootings? It really was an extreme violence over the weekend in just such a short period of time.
Doug, they said it follows a cycle of violence that they've been tracking for a while, full of grudges and retaliation. And in that update, the total of people shot at the parking lot went up in PRP from 6 to 7 after an 18-year-old victim showed up at Mary Elizabeth Hospital today. Now, LMPD still expects all 7 will survive their wounds. The shooting happened when a graduation party spilled out of an event venue, Prestige by Lux. The gunfire exchange came from within the crowd. In a statement shared on Facebook, the business said, "We've held hundreds of baby showers, weddings, and special events in which we've never experienced such tragedy." They also committed to cooperating with LMPD's investigation. Now, LMPD's own crime data shows some assaults happened in the neighborhoods surrounding that location over the last year, but it did not show any other violent crimes happening at the strip mall where the business is located.
This has been a very challenging time in our careers in the homicide unit. They work tirelessly long hours. Obviously, when we have a weekend like this, it takes every resource we have. Obviously, many of those detectives are working multiple cases and working multiple scenes through the weekend. So it takes a toll on all of us.
To date, LMPD is up 10 homicides compared to where they were last year. Now, LMPD's non-fatal shooting squad is investigating the parking lot shooting. The department said they are not prepared to publicly release theories or suspect information yet regarding that specific instance, but they did say across those other shootings this weekend, they do have some suspects. Doug?
Ian, thank you very much. Now we want to take a closer look at some of the other shootings we've been talking about today. The most recent was overnight in an apartment complex. The call came in about 11:30 last night on St. Anthony Gardens Drive. That's in the South End. That's less than a mile from the Southwest YMCA. Police found 2 women in an apartment complex there with bullet wounds. Both were taken to the hospital where police say 45-year-old Jamila Jackson died. The other shooting victim is expected to survive.
And just 2 hours before that, police found a 19-year-old man and a 17-year-old boy shot on Earl Avenue. That's in the Taylor Berry neighborhood, and police said that the man died at the hospital. The teen is expected to survive. Well, today, the state of Indiana filed 6 more felonies against former Clark County Sheriff Jamie Knoll.
It's been another late-breaking day of news for the former sheriff. 1 of those charges for money laundering and 5 for theft, bringing his total now to 31 felonies. Our Focus Team reporter Travis Breeze is here. He's been following the case closely. And Travis, you've learned about the activity. What's all this related to?
Doug, it's been interesting because we've gotten a lot of the same evidence that we've previously gotten. This is for about $500,000 worth of charges that we've learned about before, but they're things that have happened since February 1st, and they may not have ever actually gotten a specific charge for them. The February 1st is the last time Knoll received any new charges. That is the date when he and his wife, Misty Knoll, were made co-defendant on 10 felonies. So like I said, these are all for items that we have previously reported, such as 26 shipping containers that were found missing in Deputy, Indiana, a handful of classic cars totaling $257,000 and $50,000 worth of child support. But all of these items didn't necessarily result in new charges until these 6 felonies today. Knoll is accused of paying for these personal items using either the sheriff's office funds or money from his former EMS entities. There was one new thing that did appear in the probable cause affidavit today, and that was an alleged $33,000 to a Republican fundraising website called WinRed. Police said that Knoll made donations to several Republican candidates or causes under his name, but linking it to the Utica Township Volunteer Firefighters Association bank accounts. Knoll has been ordered to appear in Clark County Court tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. to be arraigned on these 6 new charges. He was scheduled to be released from his 60 days in contempt of court either Friday or Saturday. We'll learn tomorrow if that is still the case. Doug, Connie?
Travis, thank you very much. Again, it continues tomorrow. Well, new details in a case we've been following closely. The man who made news after being arrested for allegedly frequently harassing women near hospitals in the downtown Louisville Hospital District. He's also a suspect slipping through the cracks of the judicial system. Antonio Coleman is accused of being a serial harasser along with assaults. He's now been re-indicted on a rape charge from 2022. Today, his lawyers are questioning the constitutionality of his charges. Coleman has a long history with law enforcement, but has been found incompetent to stand trial several times. That means he's almost always been released right back on the streets. He's had a psychiatric evaluation as recently as this year, but Coleman was re-indicted last week on a rape charge from 2022, one that he was also deemed incompetent to stand trial for. Today, his attorneys questioned how he could be indicted for the same charges again.
Unless the Commonwealth has some sort of reason to believe that Mr. Coleman has maybe attained competency at this point, I think all of these proceedings are completely improper.
The judge said this was not the time to hear those arguments and scheduled another hearing for Thursday of this week. Coleman is currently being held at Central State Hospital in Louisville receiving mental health treatment, but this new arrest warrant might mean that he has to leave the hospital and then return to court.
Well, thanks to some quick action by multiple first responders, a man was rescued from the White River. According to the Jackson County Sheriff's Department, on June 1st, they received a 911 call about a man who was lost on the White River. Well, Dalton Sawyer was floating down the river with some friends when his tube became untied from their kayaks. It was about 10 minutes before his friends even realized that Sawyer wasn't there. That's when the Jackson County Sheriff's Department responded with multiple other agencies started walking along the riverbank. Deputy Aaron Wilkins saw something in a log jam and found Sawyer unresponsive. They transferred Sawyer to the Schneck Medical Center where he recovered with no injuries. That's amazing.
We kick off this week with the return of humidity across Kentuckiana. You could really feel it. Now we're just wondering, Connie, is the heat going to follow this humidity? You know how it gets around here.
Yeah, it does. Although I have a feeling we're going to get a cool down because we're going to get some more rain in, right?
That's a good feeling. You must have been following the forecast closely.
I was at 4 o'clock, I sure did.
Yeah, still at the beginning of June, we get luck when a front passes through because we do see that lower humidity start to filter its way in after a front. By the time we head towards July, that's not going to be the case. So yes, we're starting out the week with humidity, but by Thursday and Friday, it's going to be dry again and back into the upper 70s. Right now, Doug, yes, we are seeing that heat. 85 degrees, 84 in Bowman. We are seeing some blue skies, only a few clouds out there. So pleasant evening. Not going to see any rain and storms just yet, but we are tracking some storms that's going to fizzle out over western Kentucky here over the next few hours. So if you live west of Louisville, I think there is that slim chance of maybe seeing a shower or a brief downpour by the time we head towards 9 o'clock later this evening. And then all of us are going to see that rain tomorrow. We are expecting some widespread showers, maybe a few storms, but the best part is no severe weather in that forecast for us here in Kentucky and Indiana as well. High of 86, we'll still see the warm temperatures. Looking at that radar, we're nice and clear, but these are the storms I was indicating entering western Kentucky and Tennessee as we speak. A lot of lightning with it, but it's going to lose that energy and fizzle out just before it makes its way towards Louisville. I want to show you on this forecast model. Notice as it inches its way towards us, most of the storms lose the energy after that sunset. So if you live west of Louisville, you might see an isolated storm into the evening hours. But for the most of us, we're going to wait till tomorrow to see the bulk of the rain. I'll talk more about that coming up. Doug, Connie.
All right, thanks, Colleen. Well, now to the major news out of Union Station in downtown Louisville. TARC and JCPS have agreed on a deal to bring 70 drivers over to transport students.
This really is a one-of-a-kind, unprecedented agreement. The TARC drivers are actually going to be loaned to JCPS in what's being called a Band-Aid effort. Superintendent Marty Polio says it will allow JCPS to restore bus service for some, but not all families. Our senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Emma Gefter break down the plan.
7 weeks in the making, Louisville's public transit service and major public school district have struck a deal.
An opportunity to support our TARC drivers. An opportunity to support JCPS.
Mayor Craig Greenberg announcing 70 TARC drivers will be given the option to contract as bus drivers for JCPS to help alleviate their staffing shortage. Officials and community leaders calling it a short-term Band-Aid to issues on both sides as TARC drivers face layoffs amid the agency's financial hardship and service reductions.
I'm a big fan of the saying that we should never let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And today's solution is not perfect. We have not restored equity and opportunity for all of our students in JCPS. But today is a good day. Today is a good first step.
Around 15,000 magnet and traditional school students were estimated to lose bus service starting in the fall. Now, JCPS Superintendent Marty Polio says the kids in the most need could get that transportation back.
And how many routes could we restore if all 70 come on board?
Well, that's something we're working on now. We can't say exactly what we will be able to restore. And so we're looking at it right now. One of the things that we have to be confident in is that we don't end up in the same scenario we were this year, which is kids coming late to school.
The school district assures TARC drivers will be getting a raise, but they will not make more than current JCPS drivers. That was an obstacle early on, says Justin Shar, president of the union representing JCPS bus drivers.
So we was able to execute a deal where everybody is being paid parity, exactly the same.
Well, we know this entire deal is contingent upon TARC drivers actually wanting to go over and work for JCPS. We know this was a potential sticking point in the past, so we asked TARC Union President Lillian Brentz about this.
For the most part, we're looking forward to, again, stepping up for the community and answering the call.
Brent says her members are largely on board, but maintains their mission is still to convince the city to help fund TARC. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 on your side.
Both TARC and the JCPS board still need to sign off on this agreement. TARC's board is expected to give its approval coming up this Friday.
And meanwhile, school board members are set to vote on the deal at its next meeting, June 25th. But that timeline could prove tricky for some families who aren't sure if they'll be getting the service back. Remember, parents have only a few days left to let the district know how their student is getting to school. JCPS asked parents and guardians to fill out that transportation form by this Thursday. The district says they need the information to help plan the next school year and calculate how many students expect to ride the bus versus being dropped off.
Well, even though this deal will certainly help for the start of this coming school year, JCPS is still hiring more school bus drivers. That's the big need. And at this news conference today, they really pushed the one that'll be coming up here soon and later in June. Now, the district did host another bus driver blitz over the weekend to fill open positions. You could apply to be interviewed and also get the required physicals right on site. JCPS says dozens of new drivers have already been hired for next school year, and applications for dozens of others are processing. Still, the school district would like to recruit more people.
We want to continue to build on what we have. We certainly have hundreds of drivers less than we did 10 years ago. We would love to be back up at those levels, but we understand that that's not a reality that our current environment is in right now. So if we could add 100 drivers, we would be ecstatic.
So here's the next one coming up. JCPS says another bus driver blitz is happening on June 26th. It'll be held at the Norton Healthcare Sports and Learning Center in West Louisville. If you're interested in applying now, we do have a link to this story in our story on our website, WHAS11.com. Coming up.